Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Wednesday morning. I hope we're well. I hope the week has treated you well so far. Today's looking a little bit less rainy, which is always quite nice. Yesterday was pretty miserable, and knowing a few of you that you're in places like South Africa and Australia, it probably wasn't that bad compared to what we had. Torrential rain is what we had. But in this video, we are actually kind of talking about what's going to be next in terms of the transfers in side of things. Okay, so there will be other bits of transfer news coming out in later videos today. Looking to aim to maybe get 3 up again today, just like yesterday. By the way, if you missed any of the 3 yesterday, go back, have a little watch, just make sure you're up to date on things. But in this video, we're talking about what is next, because we've got some really information from a couple of really good sources about things that might be coming up next. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say though, if you're new, give a subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And I want to start with Fabrizio Romano, the man, the myth, the legend, and all that. And he talks about Spurs, and I think it's one of those ones with Fabrizio. If he knows a team's going to be really busy, you can see he tweets about them a lot. You know, for example, Chelsea, right? He always tweeted about Chelsea because they were so busy. With Spurs, you know, he's making certain posts now because we are going to be busy. So he was talking on YouTube and he said that despite signing Timo Werner on loan, Tottenham are still looking at additional options in the winger position and in the striker position. There will still be other movement in offensive positions for Tottenham. Now, I kind of broached this on Twitter and on here, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, description is there, right? And, you know, and Josh himself as well in the previous video on the Werner side of things. It was always like, we don't mind the Werner signing, but what else? And I totally get that, because Timo is a good depth option. And what is so fascinating is players don't seem to be wanting to leave Spurs, you know. And look, we don't pay great wages compared to other top teams, so it's not like it's like, oh, I can't get this money elsewhere. They could. They probably get more. But they like the direction, they like where the situation is of the club is right now, right? So with Spurs, the fact that, you know, you've got Sonny, who's going to be moving out to the left wing. You've got Timo now, who, in theory, is his backup. All right, cool. Well, that doesn't stop us getting another winger, you know. Let's say Nico Williams was the guy, right? Not Inaki. That's his older brother, which, by the way, they're in London. They had a group picture, Bilbao had a group picture in a tube station. And no, it wasn't Seven Sisters, before anyone asks. But, you know, let's say Nico Williams became available, you know, things kind of lined up the way you'd want them to line up. You wouldn't go, no, we're not looking for wingers anymore. We still are. We always were going to be looking for wingers. I think it was one of those that the striker positions really suffered at times from what the wingers were delivering. Now, when the wingers were, you know, doing really well and Kulusevski was doing well, or, you know, Werner and Johnson were beating their men and you know, whipping balls into the box, the strikers were doing quite well. When those two wingers were struggling and then the striker had to do a lot more, it started to become an issue, right? Hence why, you know, people talk about more of a target man striker, you know, win yourself fouls, win yourself headers, you know, all that stuff. But the fact that, you know, we are sort of still looking at what's next is great. It's kind of what I predicted, but it's great. And this isn't me being a fortune teller and me knowing exactly what happens at Spurs. Please don't think that is what the case, all right? Alistair Gold also said that Ange Postecoglou wants a number of attacking signings to be made this summer with a striker high on the priority list. I think striker is the number one priority, if I'm honest. I think it is. I think the amount of goals Spurs conceded last year, if you actually look at them, the main ones felt like set pieces and counter-attacks. Well, for counter-attacks, if you're attacking 3, you know, giving the ball away foolishly, you know, not winning those fouls, which, to be fair, we deserved more fouls than we had. We should have had more penalties. If you're attacking, you know, 3, maybe 4 or 5, if you want to call the 2 sort of 8 to 10s in the midfield, if they stop giving the ball away so willy-nilly, we'd actually concede a lot less. Because we saw at the start of the season, Bissouma was fantastic in the 6th position. And then when it was just constant counter-attacks, you know, there's only so much he can do. There's so much Rodri can do. There's so much Declan Rice can do, right? We've seen it. They can't stop everything. Your centre-half can't stop everything. So it's a good thing that we're looking to improve that. And that's why I think the striker is so important on that side of things. And also, I just see, if you think about, defending set pieces, you think about the free kicks, you think about like the corners side of things. If you've got a, big striker, we always looked at Harry Kane at the front post, defending balls coming into the box, right? Always had his, the ability to clear it. And we always, actually were quite good at defending corners. We lose Harry, you could sit there and you could slag off Davinson Sanchez, but when you lost Davinson Sanchez, he was quite good in the air. It did kind of show. That's going to ruffle some feathers. Andy, he's rubbish. Oh, God. The agenda-driven, eh? But it would help massively. And if you had an extra body in there who was good in the air, look, if they did that, if you do a zonal marking system, it can work. If you've got a guy who can just annihilate the front post, I tell you what, you'd have no issues. I mean, we saw Dragusin, we saw against Sheffield United, they wanted to come and kind of jump on Vicario. He nearly sent him into Rose Ed. He just shoved him and he just hit the floor. And it was like, sometimes when you're a centre half against a central midfielder, you're normally quite bigger. Use that physicality, and that's one thing I think Mickey. That's my only gripe with Mickey. Choose a bit more of that physicality, Mickey. You're a big lad. But yeah, I think with this is good news. I think Spurs are still looking at the striker. That's key. I think that's the marquee. That's of all the signings. I think that's the marquee. Then I think it'll be a central midfielder in that sort of order in terms of need. Doesn't mean it's going to work in that order. Doesn't mean striker's coming first and then it's midfielder and then it's like a right back. It won't be like that. It will just be Spurs looking at getting 5 or 6 different deals going all at once. Doesn't mean they're going to sign all of them, but they're getting them all going at once and then pulling the trigger on the right ones. I still think the marquee name will be the striker. Then it'll be the central midfielder. They'll look at a centre-back. Obviously, Calafiori, I think we can all kind of expect to be going to Juventus now because Motta's going there. Although, by the way, I did see, apparently Motta's not too keen on Chiesa. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying anything. I'm just putting it out there. But, I think winger will still be somewhere where they look to get better at. Doesn't mean they're going to go massive there. Because I don't, these signings that we talk about, we talk about we need to spend 50 million here. We need to spend 60 million here. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, Vicario was, 17 million? Udogie was, 13 million? Yes, Porro, Romero, and Mickey were all 40 and above. You think of into the midfield. I mean, Basuma sort of 25, reaching 35. Pape was in the 10s. Sonny was in the 10s back in the day, It doesn't always mean you have to spend the big bucks. Not every signing has to be 50, 60 million. Some of them can be 15 to 20, and they're just as good. That's why I think we've got the best left back in the league, and he costed all about 13 million. So, there's that. But I want to see what you guys think about my sort of what happens next style of things. Seeing that, Spurs are still going to be going for more attacking options. I think that's where Spurs are going to be suffering most at the moment. And they talk about it. Bryan Hill moving on. Perisic, already gone. Solomon might be going. They need to bulk it up. So this is what they're looking to do. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like on the video. If you did, hit me in the comment section down below. Your thoughts and feelings about those 2 reports. What happens next? Your ideas. I'm going to see what you guys think. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification for more. But anyway, guys, at the end of the video, I will see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.